My name is Bob Biafore, and I live in Pinellas County. I'm a retiree from the city of Tampa. I worked 25 years for the city as an electronics technician, radio electronics technician for those are the people that mostly service and repair all electronics equipment for police and fire and all city departments. My story started in 1996. I was working at my shop in Ybor City, and the convention center in Tampa at that time hadn't been up very long, and the medical people that were doing our insurance had a health fair at the convention center, and usually those things we had every year, but I never went. I just never bothered, and but it was an extremely hot day, and we were working inside and outside, and one of my friends said, why don't we go down there and, go to the convention center and go to this health fair and see what it's all about, and at least we'll get cool off. So we went, and I was standing outside of a St. Joseph's Hospital cancer screening, waiting for my friend. He was going somewhere. We were going to go back to work. And the nurse said to me, do you need anything? And I said, no. I said, what's this cancer screening all about? She says, well, normally, it's just for somebody that has a symptom, we'll take a look at you. And I said, she says, do you have anything? And she named a bunch of things. And I said, well, I have a little lump in my cheek, but I've had it looked at, and they told me it was nothing. She said, well, why don't you let us take a look? Well, the whole scenario started there. Within an hour, I had 4 doctors on me, right? And they said to me, you got to go see your doctor right now and make an appointment. You got big problems. So I went back to Clearwater, got a hold of my doctor, went and had the following day, had a biopsy taken, sent it up to Shands in Gainesville. 10 days later, they told me I had a rare tumor. So rare that only 10 people ever had that tumor in the world. Only 3 in the United States. So, and malignant. And so I figured at that time, I was done. A very gifted surgeon operated me at Morton Plant Hospital and removed the tumor. And after the surgery was over and I went back to the hospital, the oncologist had told me that if one cell got loose from that tumor and went to my brain, it would have been all over for me, so they suggested I have radiation. So I signed up with Likes Oncology, which is at Morton Plant. It's the Tampa Bay Radiation Society. They're connected between Tampa and Clearwater. And I went through wound up having a maximum amount of radiation, probably the most you could get, because at the time, because the tumor was so rare and they knew so very little about it, they decided to throw everything at it. So they literally burned me up. It's like sticking my head in a microwave. Shoot ahead 15 years, right? I was losing a tooth, and I went to a local dentist. And he looked in my file I had, and they said, you can't do nothing with this guy unless you call the hospital. Next thing I know, I was called in for a consultation at the wound center at Morton Plant Hospital, which at the time told me that if the tooth falls out, I could get a disease called radioosteonecrosis, which is a deterioration of the bone. In other words, if the tooth falls out, the socket won't heal, and my skull essentially will fall apart. I went online to check. Most of those people don't last 3 or 4 months. And you can imagine how I felt. So I didn't know what to do. So the people at Morton Plant said they were going to try to put me in a hyperbaric chamber to reoxygenate the bone so they could possibly pull the tooth. The tooth was so loose I could have pulled it out myself. So anyway, in between the time that they did that and I was deciding on what to do, because they had set me up for hyperbaric treatments, which they told me it was only a 25 to 35% chance I'd still get the disease. I seen an ad in the paper. I was reading the newspaper and seen an ad for a dentist in Tampa. You know, it's a long ride. It's like 30-mile ride over to Tampa. And it had a bunch of pictures in there, laser guy, and I said, well, that's okay. So I called, and I got, I actually talked to Dr. Witt. He said, well, make an appointment, come on over, let me take a look at you. Dr. Witt sat me in an examining chair. They took a whole series of x-rays, they did the whole workup on me, and said, you know what you got, right? I says, yeah. He says, I'll tell you what, if your doctor didn't tell you, if you start with this disease, you're gonna die. And if he didn't tell you, get him on the phone and I'll make him tell you. I says, well, no, I believe you. I says, well, what do I do? He says, well, the only option we have here is to save your teeth. I says, all right, well, you're the doctor. He went ahead and he took that tooth with a laser, welded it, essentially, simply put, welded the tooth to the tooth next to it. 6 months later, the root regenerated. But in the meantime, I had 19 other bad teeth. This is all caused from all this radiation. He essentially rebuilt my entire mouth, right? Today I have, all my teeth are redone. I presently come in every 3 months for cleanings and checkups. Essentially, he saved my life. He really did. I mean, I owe him everything. I can't give him a higher recommendation to anybody. I've talked to dozens of people about Dr. Witt. He's fantastic, professional, on the ball. You can't beat this guy. Smart, intelligent. I think he's a dental genius. Seriously. And you know, what I didn't say was, 5 years after I got the original tumor, I wound up with bladder cancer, which I'm still being treated for. I'm in remission right now. So I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I've been through this twice. And all of my work has been done through Baycare, which is a big hospital corporation. They've been terrific. I can't say enough about them. You know, so I've dealt with a lot of medical people over the years. This guy goes to the top of the list. He is absolutely the best. I can't say enough about him, right? If you're in trouble or you got a problem with your teeth, Dr. Witt is the guy you want to talk to. No question in my mind. I've never been happier with, right now, dentistry is not my problem anymore. And it's because of him. And I feel like, even to this day, that I'm taken care of. When I come over here, they look after me. Terrific guy, and he keeps up with all the latest things going on in dentistry. He re-educates himself. This is the kind of guy that dedicated, not some guy that took up dentistry for the money. You know what I'm saying? He did this, you know, he's dedicated to his work. He enjoys what he does. Super guy. Thank you very much.